Hey, welcome to another episode of Who Dares Wins. I'm JP, and it has been a while since I last recorded. Thank you for watching on the YouTube page. Definitely check me out on Instagram. Got a new Instagram, WDWP18 on Instagram. WDWP18. It's brand new. Um, Definitely going to be like adding more content to it and everything like that. But you can also check me out on Holy Fire at Holy JP Fire on Instagram. Definitely check me out on YouTube, WDWP18 on YouTube. Um, and definitely subscribe, click the notifications so that you can get updated content from me. So what has happened since our last time together, or at least since my last video? Well, some of the things that have happened are that I was in Florida. I was in Florida for a while, and just visiting family and getting some vacation time. And also, while I was there, I got to spend some time, obviously, with my mom and her church and doing ministry, different things like that. Um, while I was there, though, I noticed a few things. So, one of the things is that the NFL free agency for 2024 has been crazy. By this time, you probably have all seen the reports of the movement in the NFL with the different players. But if not, I'm just gonna say some of them because I honestly can't keep up. I can't keep up because there's so much happening. The rules are changing. It's crazy. They used to kick it through the end zone on a kickoff. It would go to the 35-yard line. Now it's going to the 25, or now it's going to the 30-yard line. I can't keep up. I don't know. Do you think that it's actually going to help the game? Do you think that there's going to be more kickoff returns? Like, do you think that there's an actual space in NFL for more Devin Hesters? If you don't know who Devin Hester is, Devin Hester was one of the best kickoff returners in NFL history. History. I mean, he was up there with like Deion Sanders. This guy was amazing. Devin Hester being on your team meant that it was more than possible, more than likely, if you don't tackle him, he's going to give you 7 points. He's going to give you 7 points. That's if you kick the extra point and you make it. Otherwise, guaranteed 6 points. All right. So Devin Hester, and so that's kind of like in question now because if if teams can just kick it through the end zone, as Pat McAfee was saying on his show yesterday, um, on the Pat McAfee show, it was saying if they kick it through the end zone, then that means that there'll be less kickoff returns. So I don't know. I mean, people are going to kick it through the end zone. People are not going to kick it through the end zone. It's the same thing when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were playing baseball before all this, like, performance enhancing drugs and these kinds of things, right? Roids or whatnot. Um, um, so basically, like during that time period, and also with Barry Bonds, like in baseball. So like Mark McGwire would get to the bat, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, and they would uh, walk them. They would walk these batters instead of pitching to them, because when they pitched to them, it got to be to a point where like Barry Bonds was going to hit a home run after a series of pitches. After a series of pitches, he was eventually going to hit a home run. He hit so many home runs, he broke Hank Aaron's record. Not only did he break Babe Ruth's record, right? But he broke Hank Aaron's record. He's the all-time home run hitting leader of all time. Obviously, he's not giving credit for it because they say he was on performance-enhancing drugs. But I think it was the most exciting time for baseball, period. Mark McGwire, same thing, broke the home run record of Roger Maris. Sammy Sosa came right behind him. Um, I don't know if Sammy was not juicing or not, but it was an amazing time for football. And yeah, I think, ultimately, like, it's really hard to stay competitive. I don't know. I'm not a professional player. Uh yeah, but I just think that, like, from a viewer point of view, it was an entertaining time. Similar, the kickoff return is an entertaining time with, like, a guy like Devin Hester, right? And other guys who are returning kickoffs too. Um, what else? What else happened? Well, something else that happened is I just found out that there's no longer allowing of drop tackles. I guess that means, like, when you're coming around a player and you're gonna tackle them, you grab them by the hip and then you just put all your weight on them to bring them down, right? Because it's like impossible to tackle these guys. So you put all your weight and it brings the player down. But what does it also do? It also possibly injures them and takes them out of the game. And if it's a good player, a great player like Saquon Barkley, right? Or like in the past, we had RG3, Robert Griffin III, right? These guys, um, yeah, I think I said it right. RG3. We'll just go with that. RG3. Can't go wrong with that. This guy was injured multiple times. This guy was an amazing quarterback. He ran, he threw, he was accurate, all these things. But, like, if you get tackled and the player's putting all their weight on your legs, to bring you down, you're gonna get injured. And so it's like, how do you do that? How do you have competitive football, pay these guys millions of dollars if they're like a star, right? Not everyone's getting millions of dollars. But if they're getting millions of dollars, how do you protect your investment, the player or players? Um, how do you protect them, but then also still have competitive tackling? It's football. It's a violent sport. It's like the likelihood of you finishing your career, like, longevity, is not good. 5 years tops. If you're a running back, 5 years tops. Like, you out after a few years. It's just too much on your knees. It's too much on the body. It's too much. It's too much, right? One running back that I think of is Rodney Hampton. Rodney Hampton was one of the best running backs in New York Giants history. And then one year he just wasn't there anymore. He just wasn't there anymore. And we had to draft new running backs. I think that's around the time that we got, either before or after, we got Tyrone Wheatley. And then from Tyrone Wheatley, we got uh, uh, Thunder and Lightning, which was, like, I think Tiki Barber and Brandon Jacobs, right? So, like, Brandon Jacobs was just like, boom, just knock it, run it straight down your throat, you know, I pro, or like I pro or I formation, just run it, boom, straight up the gut. And then Tiki Barber, a slasher, very fast, quick, great guy, right? And then I think jump ahead, we had injuries at running back position, different things like that. And then we got Saquon Barkley from Penn State. And what does this bring me up to, right? Is that, people with hip tackles would bring down Saquon Barkley, and he's already had injuries. He's already missed a lot of games. So a guy like that, you can't risk. Um, you know what I mean? Injuries are going to happen, but you can't risk just knowingly knowing that they're going to possibly get injured. So what does that mean? Okay, so one of the things that I've noticed is that, speaking of Saquon Barkley is by far the best New York Giant we have right now, or did. We did, right? What does that mean? Why am I saying we did? Well, if you're not aware of what's happening in football, Saquon Barkley has been picked up by the Philadelphia Eagles. He has been picked up by the Philadelphia Eagles. So he is no longer a New York Giant. Giants refused to pay him. The Eagles did. And so Saquon Barkley is now with the Philadelphia Eagles for I think at least 2 years. I think $16 million each year, coming out to like 30 something million dollars. I think something like that. But he got his payday. And on top of it, Saquon went to Penn State. So he's in Pennsylvania again. And I think it's going to be a great pickup for him. I think the Philadelphia Eagles fans are going to love him. I really think that like this is pretty much what the Eagles needed. They needed a running back to partner with their quarterback, Jason. I can't think of his name, but to partner with their quarterback, and then they had this most exciting offense, and then they had struggles last year. I think the Eagles are going to really turn it around this year. And I'm saying that as a Giants fan. I'm a Giants fan, but hey, you just got to give respect where you got to give respect. What does that lead me to? So I'm just going on and on and on and on to say that Justin Fields is no longer a Chicago Bear. He's now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Russell Wilson is no longer with the Denver Broncos. He is now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is going to be starting as the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, and Fields is going to be his backup, which I think is great for Justin Fields because Justin Fields needs time to progress. We know he's great. We know he's great, but being under Russell Wilson, who is a Super Bowl champion, will be great for Fields. And I think it will really help Fields to take his play to another level, which will actually help the Pittsburgh Steelers. So good times ahead for the state of Pennsylvania. Jason Kelce has retired. So the Eagles pick up Saquon Barkley, but they lose Jason Kelce. So the tush push has been legalized. They're like it's okay, but it won't be led by Jason Kelce anymore. Jason Kelce was the center for the Philadelphia Eagles. Much of the tush pushes or the QB sneak success was because Kelce would just literally put opposing teams on his back and carry Justin Fields across the line for a first down, or like into the touchdown. It was on like first and goal. You know what I mean, on the 1 yard line. In addition to that, another retirement that happened was Aaron Donald from the Rams has retired. So he is calling it quits. QBs are thanking God because they're like, hey, we're gonna be able to live when we play the Rams. We're not living in fear of Aaron Donald anymore. Aaron Donald was awesome, a beast, amazing. This guy, you could put 3 guys on him, he's still gonna sack you. I'm not saying he's Lawrence Taylor, you know what I mean? Shout out to Lawrence Taylor, New York Giants, greatest player of all time, in my opinion. But yeah, so he is retired. He's out. Devin Singletary is now with the New York Giants. Devin Singletary, he had time with the Buffalo Bills. I think he might have been with the Texans, or another team, but definitely he was with the Bills at one point. So the Giants lose Saquon Barkley, but they pick up Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary, is known as being a guy who can run the rock. He can also catch, like Saquon could. So it could be a good fit. Could be a good fit with the New York Giants. New York Giants don't really got much, but they do have Darren Waller at tight end that they picked up from the Raiders last season. They got Singletary now. They got Daniel Jones that hopefully will be good. Coming back from this injury that cost him the season last year. I don't know. I think the Giants are still gonna see what they can do in the draft. Because they're pretty high up in the draft, so they might be able to snatch a quarterback. I'm not sure. I know Odell Beckham is a free agent. Maybe the Giants will pick up Odell Beckham Jr., get him back in New York. That didn't end very well, so I don't know if that would happen. But it'd be dope because Odell is good, and if anything, he's got one. He can do a year. He can do a year, right? Um, what else? What else happened? So Hollywood Brown, Marquise Hollywood Brown, who was formerly with the Baltimore Ravens, one of um one of like Lamar Jackson's like point people like that he would pass to because he had so many injuries in the wide receiver category, is now with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I don't know. I think that's going to be very good for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it's going to be very good for the Kansas City Chiefs. They had a lot of problems in the wide receiver category last year. Um, Looks like they're working on that, taking care of it. Hollywood Brown's a deep threat. He's got good hands. Derrick Henry is no longer with the Tennessee Titans. He is now with the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens lose Hollywood Brown. They gain Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is like the Earl Campbell of today's football. This guy is unbelievable. I think similar to the Eagles, this is an amazing pickup for the Ravens. This is what the Ravens needed last year in the playoffs. For some reason, these freaking Ravens went away from the running game in the playoffs. What? Why are you going away from what is one of your biggest skill sets? Lamar Jackson? I don't get it. I don't get it. So hopefully this season, the Ravens will figure that out. The Derrick Henry will have a great year. Lamar Jackson will probably repeat as MVP. I don't know. It looks really good for the Ravens. Looks really good for the Ravens. It always looks good before the season starts. But at least right now, it looks really good for the Ravens. The Falcons also look really good. It looks like they got their quarterback. They picked up Kirk Cousins for like a gazillion dollars. And like Shannon Sharp was saying the other day on Club Shay Shay, or was it Nightcap? Probably both, Club Shay Shay and or Nightcap, with Ocho Cinco. He was saying that Kirk Cousins uh, has made so much money with only one playoff win. One playoff win. Now, I'm just speaking on it. I love sports. I love God. I love everything. Who dares wins, right? We're gonna do it afraid. I don't know nothing. I can't play football. I can go outside and play in the yard, but you know what I mean? No, I can't play this game. This game is for superstars. You know what I mean? I played basketball. But I'm not. I can't compete with the NBA. I can't compete with college. I can't compete with my friends that hurt their knees, but had like a potential. You know what I mean? Before they got injuries. I'm just a fan. I'm pretty much just a fan. And Kirk Cousins, this guy seems awesome. This guy seems like such an awesome guy. Really nice guy. This guy is getting paid. Paid. He has one playoff victory. One playoff victory. And he getting crazy money. Crazy money. This guy's made like $300 million as a quarterback. So he is now with the Falcons. I think the Falcons are going to be pretty good. I think Kirk Cousins is going to return them to the Matt Ryan days when the Falcons used to just air it out. They used to just air it out until they got to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Do you remember when they played against the Patriots in the Super Bowl? Yeah, I remember. They had like a 25-point lead and they lost. They lost to Tom Brady, the GOAT. This guy, Tom Brady, brought them back from like 25 points, and the Patriots won. The Patriots beat the Falcons, and Matt Ryan was never the same again after that. After leaving the Falcons, he went to the Colts. Trash. He went other places. Trash. So good job for Kirk Cousins. Good job. Um, not super important, but it also happened. Jimmy G is now with the Rams. So he leaves the Raiders and now he's with the Rams. And as of March 19th, the Jets pick up Mike Williams. So they got a guy to partner with. They got a guy to partner with Garrett Wilson in the receiving category. Garrett Wilson's so dope, amazing. It's gonna be so good to have Aaron ah Ron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers, to have Aaron Rodgers back with the Jets. I mean, I'm a Giants fan, but Rodgers being with the Jets was so exciting and so good for New Jersey and New York that I'm here for it. I'm rooting for them. I want to see them win, man. The New York Jets, and I'm a Mets fan, so technically, to a lot of historic Mets fans, they would say that you're supposed to be a Jets fan too. So, um, I don't know, but my grandpa just always raised me to be a Mets fan and a Giants fan. So that's why I'm a Giants fan. But I am really excited for the Jets. It's going to be a great year. They got Brees Hall, they got Mike Williams now, they got Garrett Wilson, they got Aaron Rodgers. Um, I'm not sure who their backup is. I don't know if they still have Zach Wilson or if they traded him, but it looks like really good. So those are my updates on the free agency going on right now in football. So thank you so much for checking that out. Now I'd like to shift. I'd like to shift now to some other things that happened while I was in Florida, and that was um let's see, where are we at? Don't know what time it is. Yeah. Um so while I was in Florida, I got to see this movie called Before Sunrise. Oh man, that's not what I wanted to say, but I did see it and it's very good and I was encouraged to see it. It is really good. No, what I wanted to talk to you about was this movie called One Life with Anthony Hopkins. All right? So tune in to my next video where I talk about One Life with Anthony Hopkins. Thanks for watching Who Dares Wins. I'll see you on the next video.